Hello, everyone is Bringonthechaos Glizzy for another What If. What if Naruto reincarnated and grow up to be a loving father? Before we start, can you like and subscribe for more What If? If you wanted to request a new series, and if you wanted this fanfic to have full series, please comment 3 hearts and say your fanfic that you wanted.
Chapter 2. Speech. Thought. Attack creature. Chapter 2. My dream. Giorno Uzumaki was currently alone with his father Naruto Uzumaki in his father's private study. Bruno had just recently left to help with the final preparations for Asia's birthday party, while Giorno had stayed behind to speak with his father. However, neither father or son was doing much talking, as Giorno was watching his father move his fingers along a large bookcase he had acquired from the previous boss of the Passion after killing the man and taking his organization. Though while Naruto rummaged through the bookcase, Giorno took notice to his father's appearance. Naruto had his long spiky hair tied back into a massive ponytail, while he wore a rather elegant slim black suit that was left unbuttoned to reveal a small amount of his chest. However, what really got Giorno was his father's face, which was not the face of a man in his early 30s, but instead Naruto appeared to be in his 20s. This was mainly due to his Uzumaki heritage helping slow his aging process and giving him a younger appearance. Now where is that book at? Naruto grumbled in a slightly annoyed tone as he rubbed his chin. Father, can I help you with what you're looking for? Giorno asked respectfully, while he stood before his father's desk. Naruto waved his son off without turning to his direction. No, that's okay, Giorno, but thanks for offering to help. Giorno frowned softly and studied his father, as he slowly noticed a shift in his father once the man took over the Passion. He first attributed this strange behavior to the loss of his wife and Giorno's mother Aurora finally taking its toll. Considering he no longer had the driving force of taking over the Passion to distract him. However, that didn't seem like what was wrong and made Giorno wonder what was really wrong with his father. Are you sure there isn't anything I can help you with, father? Giorno asked, while he took a slight step towards his father. Or maybe we could just talk. Do you have anything on your mind? Naruto smiled softly and turned to his eldest child and slowly walked over to the boy before resting a hand on his shoulder. Everything is fine, Giorno. I can sense your emotions and there is no need to worry about anything. Naruto began softly, while displaying his trademark and infectious grin to his son. I'm just doing a bit of research that's been bugging me recently, but it's not that important. What is important is little Asia's birthday party. So why don't you head down to the bistro and make sure everything is ready? After all, I don't fully trust Naruncia and Mista to not mess things up some way. Giorno chuckled at his father's remark. Yes, they can be idiots at times, but I'll go make sure everything is ready for Asia. Naruto nodded. You're a good brother and son, Giorno. You make me very proud. The boss of the Passion declared before giving his son a strong hug. Returning the hug, Giorno smiled. Thank you, father. Naruto backed away with a proud grin and watched his son leave his office. Then as the door to Naruto's office closed, the blonde sighed and looked up. We have some good kids, Aurora. Naruto mumbled softly, while he slowly walked back to the bookcase he was searching through. Quickly grinning wide as he found the particular book he was searching for. There you are. Next, without wasting any time, Naruto dashed over to his desk and began to read through the book. Then for the next 10 minutes he began to skim his way through each page, while absorbing as much information as he possibly could. Meanwhile, his facial features shifted from interest to surprise to ultimately a look of displeasure. I don't like what this could imply. Naruto began softly, while his hands were folded and his blue eyes glared down onto the book left open on his desk. This is quite unexpected. Kurama pointed out in a gruff tone, while Naruto simply nodded. However, what could have the father of Asia and Giorno in such a sour mood? Well, the explanation links back to when Naruto took over the passion almost a year ago. During that time, Naruto had finally got a glimpse of the power that was inside of his eldest child Giorno. At the time, Naruto didn't understand what the power was, but knew it was some ability that allowed Giorno to convert inorganic objects into living organisms. A strange and bizarre ability that Naruto didn't know the origin of at first. Meanwhile, Asia showed uses of her own power, which was some miraculous healing ability that would make Sakura and even Tsunade envious. However, once Naruto made his way to the top of passion, he discovered these were called sacred gears, which were also known as God's artifacts. These were items with powerful abilities bestowed onto humans by the god Aurora always talked about. Apparently, the former boss of the Passion had an obsession with them, which showed with all the books and journals Naruto had acquired from the man. This of course meant Giorno and Asia, along with a majority of Naruto's top capos, all are in possession of these powerful artifacts. Though even more importantly, Naruto was now learning that God was real, and not just God, but also devils, angels, fallen angels, and every other race he could find information on was. Though this revelation wasn't what troubled Naruto, as what really made him upset was that he had never seen anything besides a human, and he feared what these groups could have on his vision for creating a world of peace. Considering the former leader of Passion had a decent amount of information on these groups, and Naruto didn't like a majority of what he found. As all the supernatural groups he found information on seemed to be incredibly powerful and at odds with one another, while humanity was simply stuck in the middle of everything. So it made his dream of a peace-filled world slightly more complicated. Perhaps I should seek some of these groups out, Naruto mumbled, while speaking to the fox inside his mind. Determine if they are a threat or could become potential allies. According to Diavolo's research, he had only found individuals with sacred gears and had no contact with any supernatural groups. However, he never sought after them like he did with the scared gears. So they are surely real. Well, let's think over this, Naruto. You've been playing things safe since you arrived in this dimension. You never train your techniques outside of spars in your mind with me, and you only train your physical body with workouts. This is probably why no group has found you, as for the most part you've done a good job at flying under the radar. But this wasn't intentional. I wasn't hiding from all these supernatural groups. I was just trying to ensure nobody placed any unwanted attention on me and my family. Naruto shot back in a plain voice. I know, but this places us in a good position, Naruto. I doubt these groups know anything about you. So it allows us to gather information and act on how we see fit. I say we use some of your high-ranking capos to gather intel on different factions and go from there. That could be a good plan. I'll speak with Giorno and the rest after Asia's party. Naruto mumbled softly, while he closed the book and stood to his feet, making his way out of his office and towards the location of Asia's surprise party. With Asia kneeled in prayer with her hands clasped together and pressed to her chest. The youngest of the Uzumaki family was currently before her mother's grave and spending some time in prayer with her deceased mother. This was of course something Asia had started doing on special occasions like birthdays or anniversaries, as it allowed the girl to feel close to her mother in some fashion. Watching the girl with a protective gaze was one of her father's most trusted subordinates, Leon Abikio. The latter of whom had his hands in his pockets and was standing quietly a few feet away from the girl. "I'm sorry, Lady Asia," the gangster began softly, while he noticed the girl remained in prayer. "I don't wish to rush you, but we do need to get moving." Asia remained silent for another brief moment, but eventually uttered an "Amen," before standing to her feet and turning to Abikio. "No need for apologies, big brother," the young blonde replied with a kind smile, while showing how she treated the gangster like an elder sibling instead of her father's subordinate. In fact, Asia had a close sibling relationship with all of her father's top capos. However, these relationships never undermined her relationship with her blood brother Giorno, who she loved just as much as her father. Abikio sighed and lowered his head, while walking away and motioning for Asia to follow him. He would never admit it, but he enjoyed having Asia treat him like a sibling. Though the gangster would rather die than admit that to anyone, especially someone like Mr. Fugo or Narancia. "Hey, big brother," Asia called out, while she ran right beside the man. "You never told me where we are going today after visiting Mom." Abikio glanced down to Asia with a slight smirk. "I know," the gangster replied, while he and Asia left the main gateway of the cemetery. Then as he looked forward without speaking again, it made Asia pout and look up. "Well, are you gonna tell me where we are going?" the daughter of the most powerful man alive asked. "Nope," Abikio answered without even looking to Asia. "Why not?" Asia whined sadly, while her eyes began to water and she looked at the side of her protector's face. Noticing the man was starting to sweat. "The boss told me not to," Abikio replied simply, while trying his hardest to avoid eye contact with Asia, considering she possessed a power that even her father couldn't defeat. The all-powerful, puppy dog eyes. "Please tell me, big brother Abikio," Asia begged, while she reached out and tugged on Abikio's arm. I cannot, Lady Asia," Abikio stuttered nervously. "The boss gave me an order and I must obey without question." Asia huffed and folded her arms. "But do you always have to follow Daddy's orders?" "Lady Asia, I owe everything, including my life, to your father. I will follow his orders without question and serve him until the day I die." Abikio began with conviction in his voice that surprised Asia, as she had never heard words like this from the man. "My dream and ambition is to follow the boss and protect him and everyone he holds dear. I won't rest until his vision for a better world is achieved." Asia smiled softly at how much respect Abikio held for her father, which displayed just how amazing Naruto truly was. "You know, Abikio, I have a dream as well," Asia declared softly, while she looked up into the sky. "I want to follow my mom's dream and move to the Vatican City and join the church to serve God." Abikio glanced down to Asia and smiled softly at how innocent and kind the youngest Uzumaki was. "That's an admirable dream, Lady Asia, but I don't think the boss would allow you to run off and join the church. You know how protective he is over you and even Giorno," Abikio pointed out, which made Asia slump over sadly. "I know, but I'm hoping to convince Daddy to let me join the church soon. I think if I talk things out with him, he will allow me to pursue my dream." Abikio pondered over Asia's words, while the duo slowly approached the bistro owned by the Passion. The same bistro where Asia's surprise birthday party would be held. However, as the two approached, they could clearly see both Narancia Girga and Panacotta Fugo, both of whom were top capos in Naruto's organization. Asia, seeing the two individuals, waved happily and began to run in their direction. Narancia. Fugo. Asia yelled in an upbeat voice, which caught both gangsters off guard. Lady Asia. Fugo yelled in surprise, while he watched the girl stop before him. Why, you're here early. Abakio sighed and rubbed the back of his head. Damn it, I got us here too quick. My bad. Fugo closed his eyes and took a deep breath. It's okay, Abakio, we can adjust our plans slightly. Asia tilted her head just a little and looked up to Narancia with her infamous and dreaded, puppy dog eyes. This of course made the young gangster smile wide at Asia's look. Narancia, can you tell me what's going on? Asia asked in a sweet voice, while Abakio and Fugo's eyes grew wide. Please, big brother. Oh, we are setting up your birthday surprise. Narancia began before he was silenced by Fugo, the latter of whom grabbed Narancia's face and began to dig his fingers into his comrade's cheeks and mouth. You shit for brain, moron. Fugo yelled loudly, while he slammed Narancia's head into a nearby light post. The boss wanted this as a surprise for Lady Asia. Dumbass. Abakio grumbled softly. I spent all day keeping this a secret and you cave in 3 seconds. If the boss or Giorno doesn't kill you, I will. Asia quickly held her hands up with a worried expression. Don't be mad at Narancia. I shouldn't have asked in the first place. Please don't hurt Narancia and I'll pretend to be completely surprised. Fugo glared at Narancia before looking to Asia and sighing. Considering the girl's worried expression was enough to calm his anger. All right, Lady Asia, if that's what you wish. Fugo replied softly, while letting his grip on Narancia go. Landing onto the ground and shaking himself to regain his composure, Narancia looked up to Asia with a wide smile. I'm sorry, Lady Asia. The young delinquent apologized, which made Asia nod in response. It's all forgiven, big brother, as long as you tell me what present I got for my birthday. Asia replied in a sweet voice. Oh, you got. Narancia began, but was silenced by Abakio's foot in his face. Stop talking, dumbass. Abakio ordered in a stern voice, while also looking at Asia. And Lady Asia, please stop taking advantage of this idiot. Asia gave a friendly and innocent smile. I have no idea what you're talking about, big brother. Asia replied in a sly voice, as even though she was kind and sweet like her mother Aurora, Asia still inherited some of Naruto's trickster habits and personality. This of course caused Abakio to groan and roll his eyes at the girl's behavior. You know what, let's just go inside. The gangster began before pointing to Fugo and Narancia. You two run into the bistro and tell everyone to get ready because you see us coming. Fugo nodded and grabbed Narancia by the collar of his shirt before pulling him away and into the bistro. Then as the two disappeared into the restaurant, Abakio sighed and started to walk forward. Well, for that idiot's sake, I hope you're a good actor, Lady Asia. Abakio mumbled, as he slowly approached the door to the bistro and held the door open for Asia. Asia grinned wide and bowed in respect to Abakio for holding the door for her. I'm an Uzumaki Abakio. There isn't anything I can't do. Abakio smirked and watched Asia walk into the dark bistro. However, after a few short steps, the lights burst to life and Asia was quickly bombarded with a loud cheer and group of familiar faces. Surprise Asia! The collective members of the Passion yelled loudly, making the girl's eyes slightly water. Considering even though the surprise was ruined, she still appreciated the love and kindness taken for her sake. Everyone you shouldn't have. Asia began in a happy voice, while she looked around the room to her family and friends. Noticing her brother Giorno was smiling wide while his friends and fellow capos were standing beside him. This group consisted of Bruno Bucciarati, Naruncia Girga, Panacotta Fugo and Guido Mista. Happy birthday, baby sister. Giorno spoke up happily. I hope today is everything you want it to be. Bruno nodded with a slight smirk. We really got you with this surprise for a change. Mista nodded and laughed loudly. You have no idea how hard it was to keep this a secret. Naruncia chuckled nervously and rubbed the back of his head. Yup, super hard. Hey, happy birthday, Lady Asia. Fugo sent a small glare directed at Naruncia. Yeah, happy birthday. Abacchio smirked and ruffled Asia's hair before walking further into the bistro. This of course allowed the girl to see the rest of the passion and guests of the party. The first person she noticed was Trishuna, who was the previous boss's daughter and a current friend of Giorno and the new passion. I hope you like the present I got you, Asia. Trish spoke up with a small wink directed at the girl. However, as Asia's eyes wandered even more, she saw the most surprising group at attendance of her party. This being the infamous La Squadra, which was the assassin group of the Passion led by Risotto Nero. Apparently her father had actually not only earned the respect of every single member of the group, but he had also taken them into his group of gangsters. This was mainly due to Naruto not being one to shy away from killing and assassination. Considering he was trained to be a shinobi who specialized in killing and assassination, so Naruto didn't have any problems with the group just as long as they didn't kill without good reason or motivation. Happy birthday. Risotto spoke up slowly, while he relaxed at a table with the rest of his squad, all of whom sent a friendly wave to the daughter of their boss. Asia smiled and took a slight step forward, but before she could even move, she was suddenly scooped into the loving arms of her father. Happy birthday, my little angel. Naruto yelled happily, as he affectionately rubbed his cheek into Asia's own. Asia giggled and wrapped her arms around her father's neck. Hee, thank you for the party, daddy. I love you so much. Naruto was beaming with joy as he held tightly onto his precious daughter. And I love you, my little angel. How was your day with Abacchio? Asia grinned with a smile to match her father's. It was wonderful. Abacchio took me out for gelato and then we went to go see Mom. I'm glad you had a good day, but I have something special to show you. Naruto declared as he quickly placed Asia back onto the ground. So wait right here and I'll go fetch it for you. Asia watched her father dash away and smiled to everyone around her. She had no friends her own age, but through the passion she had 13 older brother figures and 1 older sister figure. The passion was her family and she loved every single one of them and they loved her in return. Asia. Giorno began softly, while he approached the girl and bent over to give her a hug. Abacchio told me you went to go see Mother. I'm sorry I didn't go with you. Asia giggled and hugged her older brother back. It's okay, Giorno. No need to apologize for something like that. Giorno backed away with a smile and playfully ruffled Asia's hair. You're so sweet and kind, Asia. You're just like Mother. Hee, so are you, Giorno. Asia giggled loudly, while she tilted her head innocently. I'm back. Naruto declared in a loud voice, while he ran back to Asia with a wrapped gift in his hands. Asia looked to her father with a curious look, as the gift was rectangular in shape and looked to be about the same size as a book. Is that my gift from you, Daddy? Naruto nodded with a goofy grin and handed the gift over to Asia. The latter of whom accepted the gift with a skeptical look. Yup, and you're gonna love it. Asia felt the gift and confirmed through the wrapping paper that it was in fact a book. So considering who her father was, this made Asia slightly nervous. Daddy, this isn't one of your perverted books, is it? Naruto quickly held his hands up. No, it's nothing like that. The father quickly defended, as ever since Asia learned about Naruto's Ica paradise, she had labeled her father as a pervert. However, despite that, she still loved him the same as she did before. Oh, that's good. Asia sighed in relief. I was sure you were trying to turn me into a pervert like you. Naruto slumped over at that remark from his daughter, knowing Jiraiya was laughing in the afterlife at his expense. Considering Naruto would always call the man a pervert, and now the tables have turned on the leader of the passion. Don't worry, Asia. Giorno began as he leaned in with a smile. I won't let father corrupt you, but you really should open your gift. Asia nodded and began to open the wrapping around the gift. Her eyes growing wide as she noticed the gift was a Bible. However, this particular Bible was special above any others. Since this Bible had the name Aurora Argento embroidered onto the black leather cover. His is. Asia began slowly, while her voice hitched and her fingers ran over the cover of the holy book. Mom's Bible. Giorno smiled and watched his sister begin to slightly sob, as the particular Bible meant more to her than anything. Since that was the Bible their mother would read to them from almost every night. In fact, Asia's faith was instilled into her from Aurora, while Giorno never really took to the religion. Giorno had the idea to restore Aurora's old Bible and give it to you. Naruto explained, while he bent down and leaned into his daughter. I wanted to give you a pony, but Giorno's idea was better. I could still get the pony though. Asia clutched the book close to her chest and closed her eyes. I love it. The girl mumbled softly, while she felt even closer to her mother than ever. But I love you too even more. Naruto and Giorno both smiled at the small 13-year-old. They would give her the world if they could and would do anything to protect her smile. We love you too, Asia. Naruto began, while he stood to his feet and looked to Narancia. But it's time we finally get this party started for real. Narancia grinned and placed a CD into a boombox, and a song began to play loudly throughout the bistro. This of course caused Naruto to walk forward and begin to dance, while Narancia, Fugo and Mista began to copy their boss as backup dancers. Asia watched her father with wide eyes, as it was torture for any child to see their parents act embarrassingly in public. However, this wasn't just any kind of torture. No, this was a torture dance. However, Asia wasn't like most children and quickly ran over to her father and began to fully mimic his dance moves. This of course caused the father and daughter to share a glance, smile and ultimately a laugh. House of Gremory. Venelana Gremory was known for being the eldest daughter of the House of Bale and having the nickname of the brown-haired ruin princess. She was also known for her incredible power that matched her almost unending beauty. However, nowadays she was simply Venelana Gremory. The head of the Gremory family after her husband Zeoticus Gremory has fallen deathly ill and died a few years prior. Unfortunately, it appeared that her late husband managed to leave her in quite the sticky situation after his passing. This was due to a certain contract that Zeotachus had made with the head of the Phoenix family before his passing. I'm sorry, Rias. Venelana began softly, while the woman gazed over the contract within her grasp. This contract looks near unbreakable. Rias looked down with a disappointed look, as she knew as the future head of her family she would have to make sacrifices. She, however, didn't expect to be married off to a pompous ass like Riza Phoenix. But you're the head of the house of Gremory, mother. Can't you break the contract? Rias asked desperately. Venelana sighed and shook her head. Unfortunately, that power only resides with those who signed the contract, Rias. And since your father is dead, that power rests with Lord Phoenix and him alone. So I'm doomed to marry someone I don't love. Rias mumbled sadly, which made Venelana frown. I'm sorry, Rias, but don't give up. The marriage is years away and Syrex might be able to help you in some way. Rias perked up with a small glimpse of hope, as not all was lost. You're right, mother. I can't give up yet. Venelana smiled at her daughter and began to walk off. Come, Rias, let's forget about this for now and go get something to eat. Naruto's office. Sitting behind his desk with a neutral expression, Naruto looked around to his top capos, all of whom were standing in front of his desk and were waiting for him to speak. It was only an hour after Asia's party and Naruto had immediately called a meeting to talk to each man about their new objectives. Giorno. Naruto began, which made the boy stand straight with a fierce gaze. Giorno was Naruto's second in command and was the capo over eliminating the drug trade within Italy. However, where Giorno truly shines was in his combat abilities. Since he had been trained by his father to be a shinobi and possessed Jonin-level chakra, speed and strength. Giorno even knew some of his father's signature jutsuses, making him very deadly in a fight. Though he also was in control of a scared gear called Golden Experience, which was a scared gear in the shape of gloves that can give life and transform objects. Runo. Naruto continued, while he looked to the next capo under his power. Runo was an interesting individual who was in charge of eliminating human trafficking. His sacred gear was called the Zipper Gauntlets, which were two gauntlets that grant the ability to form zip-like constructs on anything he strikes. Abakio. Naruto called out, making the man nod in recognition. Abakio was Naruto's man for eliminating police corruption and had the sacred gear replay screen. This allowed Abakio to create a screen that could play back people as long as he was near where the person was. Mista. Naruto moved on, which made the man salute his boss. Mista was responsible for all illegal weapon trade, which was ironic considering his sacred gear called Outlaw Ricochet. This was a gun that could fire bullets that could ricochet from anything around him and even bounce off the particles in the air. Narancia. Naruto spoke firmly, making the boy smile in response. Narancia was in charge of protecting the citizens under the Passion's protection. His sacred gear was called Red Sky Devil. This was an independent tiny plane that Narancia could control and even use to scan levels of carbon dioxide in the air. Fugo. Naruto named out, which made Fugo adjust the sleeve of his shirt. Fugo was responsible for recruitment and was the man to get past if you wanted into the Passion. He was in possession of a sacred gear called Toxic Phantom. This sacred gear was a remote-controlled cloud of poisonous gas that Fugo could use to kill his opponents from a distance. And finally risotto. Naruto finished, while he looked at the leader of his group of assassins. Risotto's main job was to eliminate individuals who needed to be killed. Considering Naruto knew no matter what the world would always have men like Danzo, Madara and Diavolo. So having a group of elite assassins to take those kind of people out was beneficial. Risotto's sacred gear is called Metallica and works by having tiny remote-controlled partials of iron that can enter an individual's bloodstream and do a number of things to someone once inside. I've called you here to talk about what I've discovered. Naruto began in a sour mood, while he folded his hands together. Going through Diavolo's research, I've learned much more about the sacred gears that all of you and a majority of the Passion have. However, I've also discovered that God, devils, angels, fallen angels and much more are all real. The entire room was slightly surprised, as none in the room was not one to really buy into religion. Are you serious, boss? Runo asked, speaking for everyone present. Naruto nodded softly and closed his eyes. I've prepared everything I've gathered into copies using my shadow clones to debrief you all on what little I've learned. However, from here you all have new assignments within the organization. Runo and Giorno, you two are responsible for learning everything about the underworld and devils. Fugo and Mista, you two will look into the fallen angels. Narancia and Abakio, I'm having you two responsible for gathering information on God and angels. Lastly, Risotto, I'm having you and La Squadra look into multiple different supernatural groups that are not as major as the first three. Father, why are we doing this? Giorno asked suddenly, while holding his hands out. We've never seen any of these groups. So why don't we just focus on bettering humanity? Because these groups could be a danger to the better world we want to create. So we need to gather intel and decide what action to take. Naruto explained in a matter-of-fact tone. Risotto chuckled. So if they are hostile, are you saying we might have to fight God? Naruto nodded. Yes, there is a chance we might fight these groups if they are a threat. For the meantime, I don't want any of you making contact with any of these groups. Is that understood? Naruto asked, his voice and gaze giving a commanding tone that left no room for discussion. We understand, boss, and we won't let you down. Fugo spoke up, while taking a bow of respect. Abakio nodded with a smirk. If you want to pick a fight with angels and devils, I'll follow you into heaven and hell. The capo declared, which was a sentiment shared among the group. Hey boss. Narancia began, as he held his finger up. What are you going to be doing? Naruto smiled and relaxed back into his chair. I'll be using my clones to keep moving the passion forward and pick up the holes left by you seven. Naruto explained, while he patted the stacks of folders on his desk. Each of you grab a folder and get reading. Since you each have a lot of work to do. Each capo stepped forward and did as they were told. This caused Naruto to smirk and stand to his feet. Considering it was getting late and he had a nightly ritual that he needed to keep up on. I'll leave you boys to your assignments. Naruto declared before leaving the office. Asia's bedroom. Laying in her large and elegant bed, Asia watched the door to her room open to reveal her father. The latter of whom quickly walked to her bedside with a grin on his face. Are you ready for bed, my little princess? Naruto asked softly, while he pulled the covers over top of Asia. Shaking her head, Asia gave her father a sweet-eye smile. Nope, not yet. Naruto laughed and kissed his daughter's forehead. How about now? Asia shook her head happily. Almost. The girl chipped, which was odd for Naruto, considering he would always tuck Asia in and give her a good night kiss, and that was it. So this raised the man's curiosity. What else do you need? Naruto asked. Well, I want to ask your blessing to do something, Asia revealed, which surprised Naruto. Anything for you, Naruto replied instantly. Asia grinned and slightly held herself up on her forearms. I want to join the church in the Vatican City and serve God. No. Naruto cut in sharply, tearing down his daughter's dreams and ambitions in one moment. Why not? Asia asked in a slightly hurt voice, as she wasn't used to Naruto telling her no. I've recently learned things that make me uneasy around the church, Asia. I also can't spend all my time watching over you, and you never did any shinobi training like Giorno, so you can't protect yourself, Naruto explained in a matter-of-fact tone. That's not true, Asia yelled back firmly. I know the 3 basic academy jutsuses, and Giorno taught me wall and water walking. I even was going to try and work on some medical ninjutsu. And yet you still can't fight for yourself like Giorno can, Naruto pointed out, while taking a deep sigh. Why is this so important? You're a member of the church here in Naples. Asia looked down and traced the covers of her bed using her finger. Well, Mom always told me her dream was to join the church in the Vatican City and serve God. Well, it's my dream too, and since Mom never got to see that dream through, I will live that dream for the both of us. Asia then looked up with tears in her eyes that broke Naruto's heart. Please, Dad, let me do this. Don't crush my and Mom's dream. That was it. Asia had hit Naruto's 2 and only weaknesses. The first was mentioning Aurora, while the second was seeing Asia cry. If I let you do this, I have rules, Naruto began, which surprised Asia. I'll do anything, Dad. Naruto sighed and held a finger up. First, you will go by the name Asia Argento and never tell anyone you're my daughter. I'm a famous author, but more so I am the boss of the passion. So that could make you a target for anyone wanting to get to me. Understood, Asia replied, while Naruto held up another finger. Second, if you sense any danger at all, you will leave and contact me, Giorno, or any of my capos immediately, Naruto instructed sternly. Okay, I can do that, but I'm just joining the church, Asia pointed out. Third, Naruto began, as he ignored Asia's comment. You will call me at least once a week. I'll call you twice a week, Asia declared, while she lunged into her father and hugged the man. Naruto slowly ran his hand through Asia's long and soft blonde hair. And finally, don't make me regret allowing you to do this. Don't worry, Daddy. The last thing I would want. Chapter end. Don't worry, Daddy. The last thing I would want is to make you upset, Asia spoke up softly, while she tightened her hold onto her father. Naruto didn't say anything in response, but instead had just held onto his daughter, thinking to himself that he promised to never seek vengeance, and even though he lost Jiraiya and Aurora, he has held onto his ideals. However, he knew Asia was his one exception. Considering if something were to befall his precious daughter, Naruto would tear apart both heaven and hell for retribution. Chapter end. XX. Chapter end.
Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe and like this video, comment 3 hearts for more videos. Have a nice day.